Hey there everybody, Chris from Orlando here, and today we're once again talking about the Monsters Inc. laugh floor, because I spent the entirety of the last video just talking about the show. But today we're going to talk about what it was like working there. By the way, if you haven't seen the video link should be in the up right corner of the screen now. Go watch it. Go watch all my videos, because we're all still stuck in quarantine. And there's only so many times you can binge watch Tiger King while the entire world falls apart around you. And all you really want to do is go to the parks, but you can't because of Coruscant virus, and you're not sure why, but you know it's that bitch Carol Baskin's fault! I think I'm losing my mind. Roll intro. Before we get started, I have something awesome coming up that you all should check out. Next Friday, May the 1st, join Orlando Mike, Brianna Takes 5, Danica Rutland, and the Magical Adventurers as I quiz them on their Disney Parks knowledge. We'll be streaming live here on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe to join the fun. Alright, mental breakdown and shameless self-promotion out of the way, let's get on with the video proper. The laugh floor was probably my favorite place to work at while I was in Tomorrowland because, for the most part, it was a very chill environment. You don't have to worry about safety stuff as much, the wait time was rarely over 20 minutes, if that. Plus, you get to watch the Monsters Inc. laugh floor a whole bunch, which, as I said before, is one of the most underrated shows in the park. So let's go position by position and talk about the different responsibilities they have. First, you have Greeter and Fast Pass, which, you know, it's Greeter and Fast Pass. 90% of that job is telling people where the bathrooms or Space Mountain are, and telling them, no, this is not the people mover. Overall, a very simple position, when most of the line is in the building. You see, some days like Christmas and New Year's Eve, when we're extremely busy, we'll have to use the extended queue, and I don't know why, but when they were setting up the extended queue, they made the whole thing, it doesn't make any sense. You have two sets of double doors, one for standby, one for Fast Pass. Makes sense, right? What doesn't make sense is the fact that the Fast Pass line crosses through the standby line in order to get to their doors. Disney, you have the ability to create some of the most advanced animatronics in the world, and yet you can't fix this? It's also awkward on those days when your end-of-line greeter, aka the guy with the lollipop sign, because a good chunk of the time is moving backwards, sometimes all the way to the purple wall, only to suddenly have to rush forward because a new show is letting in. It's a lot of ebb and flow. Then we have Merge, normally a bane of any attraction's cast member existence, but on the laugh floor, it's very easy. Every 10 minutes you put down a chain and standby and start letting people in. A couple minutes later, you put it back up, repeat until rotation arrives. Overall, very boring stuff. Made even more boring when you didn't actually have a line to worry about. Although it will still have a special place in my heart for being the first place I met a celebrity at work. But that's a story for another time. Next we have pre-show, undoubtedly the busiest position at the laugh floor. You're there to make sure that the theater isn't overloaded. Your limit is 425 people. And while you do have that 425 limit, your best bet is capping off around 410, 415. Because here's the thing, there's no individual seats in the theaters, just benches. And while many kids choose to sit on their parents' laps during the show, people come in all shapes and sizes. And it's not an exact science to filling it up. If there's a couple empty spots, it's better than having people stand in the aisles. You're also in charge of telling people in wheelchairs where to go, and you know what? I've spent too long not talking about the stupid things some people do, so let's get to it! You see, right by the doors there's a gate because the counters don't have enough space for a wheelchair to get through. On this gate there is a sign asking you to wait for assistance. Now, if you're a responsible human being, you'd wait a couple seconds it takes for the cast member to get over to assist you. If you're kinda stupid, you'd open the gate yourself, ignoring the sign and getting lost in the shuffle. If you're so stupid that you even got an F in lunch at school, you'd use your friend or loved one as a battering ram to open the gates. Guess which one of those happened way more often than it should? If the party is nice enough to wait for you to come over and help, you'll need to take down how many is in their groups, because none of the wheelchair seating sections are near each other, and you'll have to play Tetris in order to get everyone seated. Once the pre-show doors close, you'll report this information to the theater's cast members, and go let everyone into the theater. After which, you'll quickly sweep the floor, it's usually popcorn on the ground, don't you know, and do it all over again. Theaters was always my favorite position. You have your theater 1s and your theater 2s. Your first job is to get everyone to move all the way down. Again, if you don't move all the way down to the end of the row, you suck! But Chris, you stupid idiot, you say? I want to be picked for the show, and they pick people on the end of the row. So I'm staying in the middle, so nyeh. En contraire, my friend. You see, at this point, while everyone's loading into the theater, the monsters are already looking around for people to pick, whether for the captions joke or for actual use in the show. And here's the thing, the monsters and the cast members have a pretty good relationship. Sure, they do spend most of their break time in the green room, but they'll semi-regularly come down and say hi to us. Shout out to Charlie! So they like us a lot more than they like you. And if they see you arguing with us, they'll straight up not pick you. Sometimes if they really like the cast members, they'll pick everyone around you if they really feel like making a point. As for the whole they only pick people at the end of the rows thing, that's not true at all. They pick whoever think they can get the best partners out of. Now, they do take into account who Theater 1 is when picking people. For example, if I, a gentleman of the more fluffy persuasion with Theater 1, they would try to find people in a bit more of an open area so I'm not too cramped. And then there's Beznos, who wants us to get our steps in and usually picks people on the opposite sides of the theater. For the most part, you want to make sure that you're not on the screen while I'm holding the mic, because it's not about you. But occasionally the monster might make you do something if they think it will make the bit funnier. Theater 2 is kind of the support position. You help people get out of the theater if they want to leave early for some reason. You get that guy his sticker, and you act as communication for everything going on in the theater. Overall, very chill. As for how the monsters operate, I can't tell you that much. I was never a monster. Remember, they didn't cast me. No, you get over it! But they did take us up to the green room and let us into the booth during one of their shows so we could see what it's like. Each booth has 3 screens. One for the camera out into the audience, one to monitor their puppet, and one with the jokes that got texted in. They also have a whiteboard, that way they can write down people's names or remember the number used in the telepathetic joke, and any other notes they might need. Now, they do have a panel with a whole mess of buttons to control their puppet, but for the most part, all the basics are on a PlayStation controller. They use a PlayStation controller to control their puppets. How cool is that? Overall, it was cool to see how it operates up there, and I'm sure my job offer email just got lost in cyberspace somewhere. I'm sure of it! And that's what it was like working at the Laugh Floor. Easily the place with the least amount of stupid guest stories. Minus the handicap battering rams. Well, every place has one, right? Don't forget to like and share this video, and give the channel a subscribe. I have a Facebook now, and I'm in the process of reviewing a bunch of movies based on how well they line up with their rides, so follow me over there. I'm Chris from Orlando, and I'll just say working on monsters will certainly leave your knees sore at the end of the day. Take care, y'all. One love. Don't hurt nobody.